Hi everyone, welcome to the Faculty of Management Speaker Series Livestream. Today, Adetunji Adelakun, CEO of Scantranx Technologies, is joining us to share his journey as an entrepreneur. Adetunji is also going to be a judge for the Apex Business Plan competition. A seasoned software engineer, Adetunji has over 11 years of rich experience in world-class IT firms in Canada, Europe, and Africa. His IT work experience spans multiple industries, and he has successfully managed projects in finance, retail, and the e-commerce industry. He is passionate about providing innovative solutions for small and medium-sized businesses towards rapid business growth. Scantranx Technologies is a cloud-based omnichannel retail software platform and was awarded the best software idea by Intel Corp. Adetunji is the only entrepreneur from New Brunswick selected as a Canadian delegation to the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance Summit in 2020. Adetunji, welcome to the Faculty of Management Speaker Series online and thank you for joining us today.
I think it's great to be here today.
It looks
So
like you're.
excited.
Sorry, what is that?
I said so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited too, and it's Friday as well.
Yeah. The end of the week. Yeah.
So, are you working from home currently?
Yeah, of course. Presently, I'm working from home right now because of the pandemic and everything. And of course, it's towards the end of the year.
Correct.
So, yeah. So,
Nice. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What drives you as an entrepreneur, and why did you come up with Scantrax Technologies?
okay. Well, my name is Adetunji Adelakun, and I'm a software engineer by profession. I've been developing software for different clients in the past 11 years. I've worked with different high-tech companies in Canada, in Europe, in Africa, and in the domain of e-commerce, fintech, and retail sector. So I've got vast experience in software development. I actually have a BSc in software engineering from the Open University in the UK. So I'm actually I have a strong technical background. So talking about what makes me to become an entrepreneur, it's my passion for solving problems, and I love working with different kinds of people. I feel it helps me broaden my own knowledge and then connect with more people, and ultimately, I see it as a form of helping communities that I belong to.
Nice. As an entrepreneur, is there a typical day at work for you?
Yeah, there's a typical day at work for me. So it's usually entrepreneurship. I wouldn't lie, it's not something fun. It's fun. Well, let me put it this way. It's not the way people look at it because I've seen some other aspiring entrepreneurs talking about, oh, if I become an entrepreneur, I'm probably gonna have more time for myself. I do this. Well, that could happen maybe later in the journey, but I think in the beginning of the journey, it's usually quite difficult. It's not that easy. You have a lot of things to do, especially when you're at a very early stage. You'll probably be doing a lot of things by yourself because you have little resources and you cannot employ too many people or delegate too many tasks to other people. You probably want to be in control to
Yeah.
ensure that you have a strong foundation for your business. So uh, typically, I would just say, yeah, it's a fun thing to do if you're actually interested. If you have passion for entrepreneurship, it's something you would definitely enjoy.
Okay. So I guess passion is definitely
Yeah,
drives your energy towards
yeah,
being an entrepreneur. So
exactly.
you have worked in Austria and Nigeria as a software engineer for several years until coming to
Yeah,
Fredericton to work for Serenova. Um,
yeah.
why did you choose to move to New Brunswick versus other provinces in Canada?
Okay, yeah. So my journey to New Brunswick was kind of a journey that was To be honest, when I was in Nigeria, I'm originally from Nigeria, and I was looking at, I had a company in Nigeria, and I was looking at taking it to a new level in terms of international scale. And I'm trying to look at Canada because I try to look at where opportunities are, and I feel I'll probably like this part of the world better. But coming to Fredericton, the whole truth was I did a lot of research and I was looking for an environment that I could do business, that it's not too expensive, that has it's peaceful. That's one of the major things because I have small kids and I have a wife. So I'm trying to look for somewhere I could live peacefully with my kids and my family, and I'm looking at the same time trying to see the proximity to other North American countries in terms of proximity to major cities in the North America, in terms of when we probably want to expand or get some customers across North American cities. So that was what happened, and so I was trying. So that was actually why I decided to move to Fredericton, and so I contacted Ignite Fredericton, and luckily I applied through the startup visa program, and finally everything that was how the whole thing started. I got accepted, and then that was how I had the opportunity to move my corporate head office to Fredericton.
So you moved your company from Nigeria or from
Yeah,
Austria? Okay,
from Nigeria. I was based in Nigeria then,
got
so
it,
I moved the corporate head office to Canada, but we still operating in Nigeria as a subsidiary.
got it, got it. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur? Uh, you were working in the software industry for several years in large companies.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, was there any nervousness or to move to become an entrepreneur? Because there are some uncertainties um,
Yeah,
that come along with
yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah, true. I mean, as I've said before, entrepreneurship, it's not, you probably have to work around the clock. It's something that you have a lot to do. Yeah, definitely there was some nervousness, but I mean, it depends on, like I said, if you have passion for something, I strongly believe in following my dreams, and my passion drives me. If I love something, if I always go after it, I don't care whatever is going to happen. So the reality was there are challenges, of course, at the inception. It wasn't really easy. There was a time when I first started, I was still juggling my 9 to 5 job with the startup. So I
Wow.
had another. So I started this as a side hustle. I was trying to do it like by the side on weekends most of the time, on the Saturdays and Sundays that I'm supposed to be at home, probably relaxing or go to the beach. I found myself walking and going out, talking to clients and customers and see how I can build my own company and stuff like that, trying to see what it's out there in the market and if my idea is going to be well accepted. So, I mean, those are the things I look into. So, definitely, I face some challenges, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. And I think a lot of international students, the feedback I get is, or the apprehension with entrepreneurship is the uncertainty of having a job and job security and stuff like that. So I think
yeah,
you provided some really valuable inputs over there.
yeah.
Uh, let's move on to Scantranx Technologies. Can you tell us what
Okay.
Scantranx is about?
Yeah, so for Scantranx, it's an information technology company, and we are into retail technology and e-commerce solution. So what we do at Scantranx is we provide a cloud-based omnichannel retail solutions for retail businesses. So we have different components in terms of point of sale, payment solution, inventory management, e-commerce platform, customer loyalty. And what we did was we built everything into one platform. So that's one of the major challenges we're trying to solve for businesses. So from my experience when I was working as a software engineer, I was working with a lot of retailers, and I figured out that they usually have this challenge of maintaining multiple software programs to run their business, their daily day-to-day business operations. So they probably have a separate platform for e-commerce, They have another platform for their point of sale. They have another platform for customer loyalty. And it becomes problematic usually at the end of maybe weekly or monthly or yearly when they are trying to do reconciliation. They are trying to merge different data together in terms of this, and it's not really helpful for them. It's a big problem for them. And besides, the ultimate reason why we did where I started Scantranx was because I saw that there's an opportunity there, and I thought about if I could actually help them put all these things, all these software tools together onto the same platform. This would definitely help them lower their operational costs and solve these challenges they are having. So that was why we built Scantranx into that platform, into just a single platform. So their e-commerce, their for managing their physical stores, the point of sales, the payment, and everything is well and seamlessly integrated.
Thank you for sharing that. We actually
Yeah.
have a question from someone in the audience, Umut.
Okay.
Just going to pull his question up on the screen. Uh, when I ask my fellow UNBers what they think of entrepreneurship, they generally talk about the risks associated with entrepreneurship. So, I think we just cover that. So, the fear of failure becomes a strong decision variable for students who are about to pick an area to specialize in. What do you think we students can do to change this approach and see the positive side of the risk reward ratio?
Uh, well, in all honesty, as a student, I would probably think entrepreneurship. Let's first get one thing clear. Entrepreneurship is all about passion, and you have to have a goal you're trying to achieve. So I see some people talk about entrepreneurship as if probably it's a quick way of making money. No, if you see entrepreneurship that way, I don't think you should probably, you're not a good entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are usually people that are looking for a problem in their environment and they're looking to provide solution. So if you are passionate about that solution, if you're passionate about providing solution to a problem and you think it's something you can achieve, I think you won't see the other side of the entrepreneurship as if the risk side. You'll probably see more of the positive side, not the negative side. So I think everything still comes down to how passionate you are
Correct.
when it comes to entrepreneurship, in all honesty. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think the comments that you just made also echo with what a lot of other entrepreneurs say when they're asked about their journey as an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
uh, let's jump back to Scantrax. It's
Okay.
currently rolled out on Android, the Android platform. Why
Yeah.
did you choose to go with Android first? And do you plan to roll it out with Apple customers as well?
Yes. Okay. So first one, why did we choose Android platform first? So the major reason why we chose Android was when I first started as a software engineer, when I was learning mobile application development, I had great experience. I've developed software on other platforms because I was a Java developer.
Okay.
I was mostly, yeah, most of the platforms I've been working on are based on Java technologies. So I had vast experience in Java development. So when I wanted to start Scantranx, when I wanted to start a app, but the plan was to go with the platform that I think I have enough knowledge about, which is Android. And apart from that, we have a hardware partner that supplies us an hardware that we give to the clients. And these hardwares they are based on Android platforms
Okay.
because Android is open source. So the market, yeah, so the suppliers we have usually give us those hardwares, and those hardware were based on Android. So logically, it makes sense for us to start with Android. It's open source. We think we have full control over the platform in terms of development and everything. So that was, and besides, we saw that there was more markets across Africa and some other part of the world for Android more than iOS
Okay.
because iOS is a closed operating system. So Most people don't usually use um, iOS as much as Android. Yeah. So that was one of the, yeah. So that was one of the major reasons. But going forward, we're already looking at developing the app also on iPad on Apple platform. So we're looking at making the platform available for uh, people who are using Apple. So they'll probably be getting it on iPad very soon.
Thank you for sharing that. So currently in your team, how many team members do you have?
We have about 16 members.
Okay. And
Yeah.
are you looking to grow your team in the future, like near future?
Yeah, definitely, but not at this point in time because the plan was to expand the team before, but with what happened with COVID-19, we
Yeah.
had to slow down hiring. Right now, it's a bit challenging because we are working in the retail sector and most of brick and mortar stores are already closing down right now. So you see a lot of small businesses are closing down their stores and stuff like that. So it's a challenging year. So, but we see we are hopeful and we think after post COVID, everything is going to return back to normal. And we think there's going to be a whole lot of opportunities for our product. So, one major thing we did during COVID was we tried to pivot in terms of exploring e commerce with our clients, and that's what we've been doing. So, for the team expansion, definitely going to happen, but not at this point in time.
Okay. And running a tech company, when
Yeah.
you're looking to hire new people, um, what is your balance between aptitude and attitude when you're looking at new employees, potential employees?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think uh, both are good. But attitude and aptitude. It's good to have people that are skillful, but at the same time, it's good to have someone that has a great attitude towards the work that he or she is doing. So when we look at it from my own perspective, I think I always prefer people with good attitude.
Okay.
People, yeah, I always prefer people with good attitude. Aptitude is when you have the skills and everything you need to work. Yeah, you could be skillful, but if you don't have good attitude towards the work, your skill is probably not gonna be worth it for me
Yeah.
because honesty when you have some integrity, you have some honesty, and you find yourself accountable to whatever the work you're doing. I always appreciate that most. And I think for aptitude, it's easy. You can train. If someone has a good attitude, you can train them. You can train them to acquire good skills. And of course, definitely it's gonna work fine for you. So that's my own take on that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because a lot of people tend towards attitude, and aptitude can be picked up with the right attitude. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the product development stage, when you were working part time, when you were working alongside your full time job, did
Yeah.
you require funding?
Yes, I think when you're trying to develop a product, especially technology product, you need funding.
Okay.
So I think most of the time you need funding to do that, to bring your ideas to life and everything. It usually requires funding. You need to maybe for development, for marketing, for different things. So yeah, but the thing was, so up to today, we've not raised any funding. So because the company was bootstrapped, I bootstrapped the company. I used my own, meaning I used my own personal income, my own from donations from friends and family. That's what I used to start a business, and the revenue that are coming in from the business, we put it back into the business. So that's what we've been using to run the company till today. But definitely, when the right time comes, we're probably looking at getting maybe funding from Angel or VCs.
Got
And
it.
yeah, but we want the right. Well, our target right now is not that we want to get to that point where we think, yeah, we want to do this, and then we're ready for it. So, but so far, everything is still going good. Yeah,
And that's really good to hear, actually, that you've been
yeah,
able to channel your own revenues to run the company.
yeah.
Um, as an entrepreneur offering technology backed solutions, did your experience benefit you? And can someone without a tech or computer science degree or background start a software company?
Yes. So the first one, my home background as a software engineer, working on mostly on the backend technologies. Yes, I would say my skill really helped because it's easy for me to understand what I wanted to do. The technical aspect of the business, it's very easy for me. And then if I actually, it's more easy because I can actually communicate whatever I want to do with with people that are working with me or people that I give some tasks to do. It's easy for me because I'm a technical person and I understand quality jobs. So it makes the whole process of developing the software easy for me. In the other hand, if you say if people that doesn't have a background in computer science, if they can have a tech company or whatever, yes, it's possible. However, I think most of the time, it usually requires them having probably like a co-partner that understands technology because to be honest, it's not easy when you're not a tech person to start a technology company,
Okay.
right? You have a lot of challenges. You don't know how to communicate some things in a technical manner. But if you have maybe like a co-founder
Yeah.
who is yeah, that's usually the ideal way that I see most people going about it. People that have great ideas, but they don't have the technical skills, they do try to look for a co-founder that can support them, that can complement their own skill. And then that's how you can actually develop the business quickly.
Okay. And as an entrepreneur, you've had many achievements. You were the only entrepreneur to be selected from New Brunswick this year's G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance. Um,
Yeah.
can you tell us what is your role as a delegate? Like, what do you have to do for that?
Yeah, so the G20 YEA, it's a kind of summit that happens every year. So this brings about a whole lot of entrepreneurs from across the G20 countries deliberating about challenges and giving solution to what challenges they are having. What we do basically is we this at the summit as a delegate you meet I was one of the Canadian delegates and then the other delegates, the lead delegate for Canada is the Futurepreneur Canada, so they
Okay.
are the ones that lead us to to the summit. And before the summit we had as a delegate, we had to provide the challenges that we feel that entrepreneurs in our region are facing and how can this be solved. The challenges we have to come up with some recommendations because after usually every year after the G20 YEA summit, there is usually the G20 summit that brings together the whole head of state of the G20. And at the summit, they usually present the G20 YEA recommendations to the head of states so that they can know what challenges the entrepreneurs are facing and small businesses in their country, and then see how they can help provide solutions in terms of maybe policies. For example, like this year, we our recommendations. One of our recommendations this year is funding. We talked about funding a lot because we figured out that a lot of entrepreneurs have challenges in time when it comes to funding, bringing their ideas to life and stuff like that. So we talked about funding. We gave recommendations to the government what can be done to help entrepreneurs and to help aspiring entrepreneurs to get encouraged. And then also, we talked about education, how they can educate entrepreneurs in terms of maybe building of research centers and stuff like that that could support them in their entrepreneurial journey and different stuff like that. So all these things are documented and it's going to be provided to the head of state at the G20, and then they usually act on it. So that's what the delegate usually. Yeah, that's
And
our role.
I guess it's a great way to also build your network because you're meeting people from across Canada.
Yeah, exactly. That's another advantage of it. Apart from meeting people not only from Canada, you can meet people from different parts of the world. So the whole G20 country, from all the G20 countries. So for this year, because of COVID, it was held virtually. Ideally, it's hosted by Saudi. We will have probably gone to Saudi this year, but because of COVID, it was hosted virtually, and then everything was set virtually. But despite that, we still make great connections. Like we make connections. We had bilateral meetings with the delegates from the UK, from the India, from South Africa. I think we had a whole lot of things, and also in terms of networking locally, we are connected to different trade commissioners in Canada and outside Canada that will help us, assist us when we're trying to expand and
Yeah.
export our product. So it's a very good program, I would say.
That's really nice to hear, and I guess it's a lot of learning points there for other entrepreneurs who could follow this path. We
Yeah.
have a question from the audience from Gotham.
Okay.
As compared to selling to large sized firms where the requirements are similar across an industry, how challenging has it been for you to sell to retail owners where the requirements change from one store to another? Thanks very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks. It's challenging. I would say it's challenging. I think from my whole entrepreneur journey, one thing I discovered, well, from my own experiences, I think sales is usually one of the most difficult parts when you're starting up a company. You can have a very great product, but to sell it, it's usually sometimes tricky, except you're a very good salesperson or you have very good salespeople in your team. And so when we talk about this challenge, it's challenging. Yeah, we have some challenges around that because it's not easy. We don't move from store to store. Initially, the plan was doing some stuff to store marketing, but we figured out that it's not going to probably work a lot for us because it's not easy getting people on the street talking to people with it. So one of the things that we found out that was working is running some kind of social media ads, which is really working for us. We figured out that a lot of all these stores owners one way or the other, they belong to some organizations that are maybe like Retail Council of Canada. Some other ones, there are different retail groups on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So we do reach out to them through those channels, and we think everything is working fine for us.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk about a related topic. Jump back to the COVID 19 impact on your business. Um,
Okay.
Having retail customers,
Yeah.
uh, how did the pandemic affect your business? Did it make your product more attractive with retail clients going to e-commerce, or what was your experience like?
Yeah. So one of the things that happened was it's I think it's two sided. It's two ways. So some part of our products are more attractive, like the e-com, but some parts like the point of sale and stuff like that, it's not really moving fine because of the of the most small
Restriction. Yeah.
businesses. Yeah, the restriction, and most small businesses are closing down their stores. Everybody is shifting to virtual and embracing digital transformation. So that's one of the things. So in terms of for the COVID, yeah, we look in the early days of the lockdown, that was when we actually launched our ecom, and we figured out that we have some good tractions, we have some people reaching out, and then so that's what we leverage on during this COVID period. So that's the that's the way we are trying to survive, and that's the way the company is trying to manage the whole COVID situation. So in a nutshell, I would say, yeah, some part of it are affected and some part of it looks like it's a blessing when you look at it. So it's a two-way. Yeah. So that's the way it works.
So, would you consider that your pivot during the pandemic?
Would I consider what?
Would that be like your pivot in the like how you adapted
Yeah,
in the
exactly. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll say it's a pivot. It's a pivot because to be honest, we're already working on the ecom even before the pandemic started. But it looks like the pandemic accelerated our efforts on that side of it. Yeah.
Got it.
If COVID had not happened, probably we might just not have launched the ecom as fast as possible the way we launch it. Yeah. But because of COVID, that really accelerated the efforts on that. Yeah.
I, I guess there are some silver linings to the pandemic, and even with the speaker series, we can easily communicate over technology. And previously, it would have not happened this way, even though we had the capability. It's quite
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. Um, what advice would you give to students and young entrepreneurs who are looking to create their business and starting out their ventures now or during these times, this new normal?
Well, the first thing is my first advice to anybody looking at starting a business, trying to embark on entrepreneurship is interest. Make sure you have passion. Interest matters a lot because you don't want to start and you get to a point and you're like, oh, okay. When you're facing problems or challenges and you want to back out, I don't think you should start it. Definitely in your entrepreneur journey, when you're building a company, I think they used to say this statement that one of the hardest things that anybody can do is building a company. Like, so it's a lot of effort goes into it. That
Yeah.
a lot of effort, a lot of resources, a lot of sleepless nights goes into building a company. So I think the major thing is passion. Once you have a passion, that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is you probably have to do a whole lot of research and probably look at the market you're trying to enter. Yeah, right. Looking into entering. If you want to start any kind of business you want to do, you need to have great knowledge. Do your research very well. Do your feasibility studies. If it is a business that you think it's going to work well in the environment you are, that's another thing. And yeah, lastly, I think networking. Networking is a good one. You need to make sure you network with a lot of people. Having great people around you helps your business. It's good to have great people. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded entrepreneur, people that have the same passion as you have for entrepreneur and everything. So with that, I think you should be fine. And of course, education matters a lot too.
And I
So
guess you working out of Planet Hatch, that is an excellent example of a great network that you
yeah,
can.
exactly. Yeah, I've met great people at Planet Hatch, people who are just the startup level also.
Yeah.
So we've had discussions, we rub minds together, and yeah, there are some people. If I have some challenges, I to talk to, and we do exchange ideas, and yeah, so which is a very great one.
Yeah. We have a question from Mashad. I've been thinking to join a startup, but I think it's kind of risky because the income of working with a startup might not be as much as working with a well known company in the beginning. If you had one piece of advice to someone who just wants to start out, what would it be?
To join a startup, yeah, okay, startup in terms of joining a startup or startup in terms of I just trying to understand the context. Anyways, I think uh, if you're trying to join a startup, it's yes, it might be risky because most startups might not be stable at a point where you join them. The income might not be as much as when you join a well-established organization, right? But if the lessons you learn, it's totally different. I've worked with big organizations before in the past, and I've worked with startup. I work with startups in the past. At startups, you have this opportunity of learning a lot of things because it's a small team and you have a lot to do. Usually at startup, you find out that one person is doing maybe two or three roles combined. So it makes you learn a lot of things. So if you're looking at acquiring more knowledge and you are looking at working in a very close in a team that's in a small team that you can share knowledge and connect well with people, it's startups are usually good. But on the other side, if you're looking at the income aspect, then you might probably look for a well-established company that is more financially stable than startups. Some startups are financially stable, but the advantage is sometimes I've seen when people join startups as maybe the first hire or whatever, like the first employee they hired, and the startup eventually became so big and they expanded and everything. Those kind of employees are given maybe some kind of shares in the startups and everything, which on the long run, you might not end up getting such benefits. if you join a well-established company, right?
Correct.
So the time you look at all those benefits, so everything has the pros and cons of it. There are disadvantages, there are advantages and disadvantages to everything. So
Correct.
it depends on your own personal choice and what you're looking for.
Yeah. Um, your education has been really helpful in your startup because you have a tech background and you have a tech company.
Yeah.
Um, do you plan to go back to school?
Wow. Going back to school. Well, in all honesty, I would say most likely, yes. I'll still probably want to study. I One thing about myself is I don't think even if I don't go to school, studying doesn't stop. For me, I think learning is a continuous process. You have to keep learning every day. Like sometimes I even if I'm not studying officially in a university or in a school or whatever, there are some days I usually read from morning till evening because I probably looking for some kind of knowledge or I want to explore something and I probably have to do a self-learning. So when you talk about going back to school, it's most likely I'll probably have to still go back to school one day. Maybe I'll probably want to do some other, some executive courses and see just to broaden my knowledge and I think it's fun learning.
Yeah, it's interesting that so many entrepreneurs have such similar responses towards like learning, like lifelong learning and continuously.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think the day you stop. Well, I've always heard this that the day you stop learning is the day you die. So I think you just have to keep learning. When you keep learning, you keep building yourself.
yeah.
Your experiences keeps getting wider. So that's my own take on that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That actually brings
Yeah.
me an end to my questions. If
Yeah.
anyone's watching has a question, feel free to type it in the comments. And if there's anything else, Adetunji, that you would like to add, feel free.
Well, I don't have much to add again. I think we've spoken a lot. We've had very great conversation this afternoon, and the only thing I would just say is just it's still a piece of advice to anybody who wants to go into entrepreneurship. It's a very fun thing to do if you have the passion for entrepreneurship. Not everyone has the passion for entrepreneurship. Some people doesn't have that much. They can't face challenges, and when you're an entrepreneur, you're ready to solve problems. Even when you have funding, when you have everything, your product is great, there will always be a challenge one way or the other. Challenges will always come.
Yeah.
It doesn't end, it doesn't stop. So at any point, at any stage, no matter the stage you have, you will definitely have one or two challenges that you need to solve in your organization or whatever. So I think it's just good for people. My own advice is just they should just keep learning, keep expanding your network, focus on your goals, and everything will work fine.
I have a quick follow up question on that. How do you
Okay.
know what your passion is? Because sometimes I might wake up and I might be passionate about something, and then it might fizzle out over a month, let's say.
Okay.
Uh,
So how to know what your passion is? Okay. So for example, for myself, I think I discovered my passion when I actually realized that I love programming.
okay.
So I think passion is something that you're doing and you're deriving from it. It just comes out of you naturally. It's not like anybody is forcing you. And whenever you want to do it, you feel so happy. So for example, when I started programming at a very early stage. And it was because even though computers were not this common and everything back then, I always had my way. I'll go to places where I find that I can get computers and everything. Started learning different kinds of basic programming languages like HTML and stuff like that. I'm just passionate about computers.
Yeah.
It's something that when I'm doing it, I feel happy. It's something that I think I can do from morning to night without even eating, and I won't get tired. So I mean that's kind of what I see as passion. Some things I figured out that it's very hard for me to do some things. Like just doing it for 10 minutes, I get so bored. and I won't find it so interesting. So those are the kind of when you are doing something that comes out of you naturally, like, oh, I have passion for this. So generally, I love programming, and that was one of the reasons why I actually studied software engineering when I was in the university. And after my studies, when I was working closely with retailers and people in the financial sector. So I realized that I love solving problems for them because when I solve challenge for them, I see this kind of joy and happiness on their face, and I'll be like, oh wow, this is nice. So I can make people happy like this. So let me keep doing this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel that's just my passion. That's just the truth. So I think if you're doing something that comes out naturally from you, you don't get bored of it. Even when you get bored, like I know I used to laugh at myself. Like sometimes I'll say, oh, by the time I'm X 30 years, by the time I'm this years, I'm not going to write any code again. I'm not going to do this again. But it's a lie. I figured out that even if I stop, it's just maybe like few days. If I don't do it, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel complete. So
So it should
that's why.
complete you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have to say it's been really good talking to you, Adetunji.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks so
taking the
much.
time to share your experiences. Lots of golden tips there, and maybe when things settle down, I would love to catch up in person, and you should come to campus and do a session in
Yeah.
person. That would be awesome.
I'll be so glad to do that. I'll be so happy to do that.
And we'll be in touch for the Apex Business Plan competition. So I look forward to seeing
Yeah,
you there soon. Um,
definitely. I will. I'm so excited. Looking forward to that.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh,
Really
thank
appreciate it.
you for coming on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.